Hey, you've plugged into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Personal Development Unplugged. And today on this podcast episode, I'm going to show you a superpower that you have hidden in plain sight. And it's a superpower that will change your world. And it also shows how faking it till you make it is just, well, it doesn't work. And when you employ this superpower, you'll blow it out the water. Completely, being so successful. Would that be of interest? Have a listen just after this.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
So we're back, my friend, you and I together. This is what it's all about, I guess, just hanging around, having a chat, a little conversation. And I wanted to have a conversation about a superpower. Would it be of value? Would it be okay? Would it be something you want? To know your own personal superpower. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I was asked a question. About, well, faking it till you make it and acting as if. And what's the blooming difference, Cluffy? And in fact, yesterday, even working with a client in the hypnotherapy room, we were talking about, how they could do things more consciously to practice the skills that they wanted. And we were talking about how I hate with a vengeance, fake it until you make it. And they didn't know. They didn't realize that fake it until you make it is exactly what it says in the first part. It's faking it. And to be honest, you probably won't make it because it's built on fakeness. But acting as if is completely different. And I'll explain that. But that's sort of your superpower. But it's how do you use it? How do you press the button? How do you ignite it? How do you go full throttle? Now, that's what we're going to talk about. And just talk about it in a way that I think, when you get it, you'll get it. And this was a good reminder to me. Because as I was thinking about this and the question of, what's the difference, Paul? Well, I got to remember, can you remember something like this? I can remember, don't know what age I was, probably about 11, I guess, 10, 11, 12. Not too long ago, you can imagine that. And I can remember as a child playing football, soccer as you might call it, but playing football. And when I played brilliantly, I used to play in goal, but when I used to play on the pitch, well, not on the pitch, but outside goal, I used to imagine being my hero of my beloved team, Tottenham Hotspur, Spurs. And I was taking on his mannerisms, the things that he did, when he scored, what he did and how he looked. And I could do what he did. Well, I could do what he did in my mind. I could do it. I could certainly do what I did better than I used to do what I did. And it was awesome. And I felt absolutely, top of the world. I was my own hero when I think back now. And I wasn't faking it. Okay, yeah, I wasn't him, but I was acting as if I was him. I had somehow picked up his beliefs, his confidence, because when I didn't do that, I couldn't drop a shoulder and move, kick the ball around somebody and move and that. But when I was him, it's just that I could just beat people, I could score. It really was, and when I think back to it, it was such a wonderful day, wonderful daze, as it were, D-A-Z-E maybe, daze. And I wonder how many more times I've done that in different ways. I'm sure I have. It's a form of modelling, I guess, as well. But it's acting as if. So, as we, just you and I, that was one of mine, where I took on, as an 11, say that again, Cluffy, as an 11-year-old, took on the mannerisms of an adult, but my superhero football star. And I want you to think just for the moment, if you can. When I say if you can in the surroundings, wherever you are, can you just stop for a moment? Stop and pause and maybe think back to a time in your past. Maybe as a child growing up and taking on that thing where you become somebody else. You see it in little children where they're acting as cops and robbers and things like that. But this time, something that when you did it, you really believed you were your hero. Maybe you could think about it now. Go back there. If it's okay to do, though, just make sure you're safe. Sometimes it's good just to sit down and I'll just take 5 minutes out with Cluffy and listen to this and do it. But I could just sit down and cast my mind back, and maybe your unconscious mind will bubble up one of those special memories. Maybe it's a memory you haven't thought about. It's just suddenly come to light like an aha moment. It's just come into your mind's eye, onto that movie screen in your mind's eye. Maybe, although we call it an internal representation, maybe you can now see it over there. Or maybe you're in it. If you're not in it, get in it now. And begin to see what you saw back then. See it through the wonder, the eyes of wonder. How did you see the world when you were your superhero? What did you hear? What did you say? What were the differences in your voice, the words you said, and the conviction that you said it in? The beliefs you had, that internal voice of, if you really went there now, you'd know that wonderful belief that you have about yourself. And because you were a child, it was coming from you without that adult getting in the way. Maybe you could even smell the air. Maybe there's a taste as well to take you right back into that feeling and feel that superstar again. Because you were acting just as if you were them. That's right. And you believed it so, didn't you? Wasn't it awesome? And I just love doing this just for the sake of doing it, for nothing else, but we're going to use it and do something completely different. But even better. Just know the things that you were, or you felt and believed you were capable of. No inhibitions, no negative beliefs, nothing holding you back. Just that dream. Because you could. Because you could. Yeah, you believed it. Just like I believed it. And even now when I just told you about it, I went back there again, I tell you that now. And I can remember scoring that goal. And although I didn't have that football, the special football top with my beloved Spurs emblem on it, I believed I did have it. I believed I had the whole kit. That's how far my imagination went. What about you? And as you come back to yourself and just, come back to me, and you might even think, how long did that take, Cluffy? That took about 3 minutes. 3 minutes to relive something like that and feel that good. What would happen if you did that? Well, if you did it every day for 3 minutes a day, wouldn't that be a lovely way to remember wonderful things? But it would get you to feel and get your unconscious mind to do things. I just thought about this. If you did this every day for at least 3 minutes, a whole 3 minutes of your life spent loving the way you feel and igniting that superpower. Because I guess, this would be my guess, talking to your unconscious mind, that it could begin to notice how it could use that right now. You see, I was thinking about this a little bit deeper, and I thought, well, that's the acting as if, isn't it? When we really, truly believe we're taking on the characteristics, the beliefs, the psychology, the physiology. But let's flip it for a moment. Let's just think about this. Let's flip it. Have you ever pretended to be somebody? Just pretended. And I think, when you did that, I can remember a couple of times when I've done it. I'm not proud of it. It was really a deception because I knew I wasn't that. I was faking it. And when you fake something like that, there is a deception there and you can feel it. You can feel you're not truly aligned with who you really are. You know in your mind that you're in some ways telling a fib, a lie. You're not being true to yourself. It doesn't feel true because you know it's not true. You don't believe it. And that's what I think, if you can think back to times when you've just done something similar to that and you go, yeah, you can tell the difference. If you compare the two now, compare the two of one faking it and that misalignment, that even your body didn't move the way, it was an act, not an act as if, but it was, acting to fake it, to, I guess, I say deception and deceive people, but it really was, wasn't it? Yet, when you compare it to when you believed you were that person and you took on all their characteristics, how true that felt. And when you think of what was the quality of those feelings, as in which ones did you enjoy the most, which one gave you the most, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? And you see that to me is when you think about that pretending, all the time you're doing it, how did it feel? Fake with a capital, uppercase, bloody great big F. F for fake. And I think that's the part when you think of the fifth key of the keys to success. If you want me to run over them very quickly, I will. The first key, know your outcome. The second key, taking massive, intuitive, continuous action. The third key, being aware of your results you're getting. So you can be flexible. Fourth key, to make adjustments. And the fifth key is to act from a psychology and physiology of excellence. That's the acting as if. When you take on the psychology, what would that person, if I want to be, if I want to do something, say I wanted to be, say an artist, what type of psychology would I have? Well, I'd have a wonder in my eyes when I'd be looking for things of beauty, maybe, or the colours or the shapes or the patterns that are made by nature, maybe. My mind would go off in dreams of how I could put things together. I don't know. But isn't that what call it a professional artist would do? And they'd believe in themselves. And then if you see someone, they may act totally free in their movements. But what are the things, if you just think back just think for a moment of something you'd like to do and just compare that. Just think of somebody who you know does it. What do you think goes in their mind? Because they don't have doubts. And if they do have doubts, those doubts are pushed away very quickly, aren't they? Because they can rely on their skills, their positive beliefs, how they move their body. Maybe they have that determination, that wonderful positive belief that it's okay and they're going to do it. I can do this. That's the psychology and physiology of excellence, acting as if. I know from experience when I've seen people who have, say, worked towards success, when they started, they were watching people and they just took on that physiology as if they were already there. And that gave them a huge leap forward because the body starts to move and then the thoughts come in and the beliefs come in. And that's what it's about, isn't it? So, if you think about that for a moment, let's think of it in a different way then. Let's think of it, because I want you to try it. Let's think of something that you want to be able to do successfully. Or there's something you want to improve, something you do already that you want to improve. That's probably, because I want to make this real for you. So just take a moment or two, sip of your coffee, or just have a wonderful in-breath. Just clear your mind and then using your intention to bring to mind something you want to do, improve upon. And notice, see it in your mind. Just see it over there. Maybe just see yourself at the moment. And I love doing this because we're imagining now. First of all, if you want to do it in a particular way, here's one way you can do it, because you say, I can't imagine myself doing it. Okay. I want you to imagine one of your heroes doing the thing that you want to improve upon. And imagine them over there doing it. You'll have seen it on a video, you'll have seen it on a YouTube or in real life maybe, from your memories, but see them there doing the thing that you want to be successful at or better at. And as you do that, you see them over there. They're doing it, you're seeing them move their body. They have got that psychology and physiology of excellence. Just imagine, very quickly and gently, floating over there. Remember, do this safely. I don't want anybody doing this when they're driving, but just stop for a moment and pause and then float out into that them over there. Become them for the moment, looking through their eyes. How do they see the world? Listen to the way they talk to themselves. Understand, what belief do I have? And just notice how you can feel that belief. You can hear that belief. It resonates through every cell of your body. And notice how it feels to move this way. This is like you're trying on a suit of success. And just notice this is being successful. And as you do that, allow that suit to disappear and become you doing this. Taking on those mannerisms, that psychology, that physiology of excellence. And this is how you know what it feels like. How it would be as if you were to act as if. And just at the moment, just going, what belief do I have about myself that makes me feel this way? This success. What is most important to me? What is my super value? My most important value about me? My identity of being this way. Knowing that you cannot fail, because this is imagination. And it's okay. It's okay to be like this for a moment, because we're going to take it to the real life, your real life. But just be here for the moment and let your unconscious mind learn the value that you have, the most important things that are your values and the beliefs about who you are in this way, your beliefs about your identity. And when you know those beliefs, and you may get them consciously, but when your unconscious mind knows, you know you cannot fail. And the thing is, as you come back to yourself now, you know consciously, if you wanted to, how you could act as if, how you could be doing the thing you want to be successful at. you could take on this psychology, physiology of excellence. And I guarantee, don't get many Cluffy guarantees, I guarantee that if you did the thing that you want to do, be more successful at, and do it with this psychology and physiology, just take it on, act as if, every time, I guarantee you, you will get better. You will get better at the things you want to be more successful at, and you will become more successful at it. And this applies everywhere. That's the whole thing. It doesn't have to just apply to this thing I want to be better at, because that was my example of the easy one, the one you really want to be successful at. So we start with the easy one, which is going to be the most wonderful one, and then decide, well, what would happen if I just wanted to be better at everything? Because this is where it is. Everything, everywhere. All you have to do is be committed to you. That's a bummer, isn't it? Committed to you. Well, who else is going to be committed to you? There is only you, fully committed to you. You'll get other people support you. And I tell you what, they'll support you even more when you demonstrate acting as if. And if you think of any context, and you said, what would be, or how would I act as if? What beliefs would I have? What values would I have? How would I move my body? What would I think, see, talk to myself in any context to make it even better? You would feel awesome. And the more you do this in your mind, and the more you try to do it, and I say try, I don't like the word try, the more you act as if in consciousness. Your unconscious mind is then going to take it as a wonderful strategy because it feels bloody good. And that strategy then will begin to generalize into all those other contexts anyway. So you just get better at everything. And all you have done is use the most powerful superpower that you have. Imagination. It will light your fire. It will send you into realms of ecstasy. Ecstasy. Which one is it? Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. Because now you'll be consciously competent, unconsciously competent. And more importantly, you'll just get that wonderful feeling of success in everything you do. And then you'll go another step higher. You'll raise your personal best every time. We've talked about that before. Because everything you do, you could be a little bit more. And when you do it this way, it'll be a hell of a lot more. Blooming heck. All because someone asked, what's the difference, Cluffy, between faking it until you make it and acting as if? And it got me going. And it was quite strange. While it got me going, I'd written a few notes, and then my client comes and asks me about it too. Is that serendipity? Is that coincidence? Or is it just meant to be? I wonder now if you just sat down with the old Jenny journal out and just bullet pointed, if you wanted to, just randomly put the different contexts, the different areas of your life where you'd like to get better, and be as specific as you like. The more specific, they're the ones that you can really find psychology of excellence, because it will generalize into the other stuff anyway. So be as specific as you can. And then maybe just say, do you know what? Every day for 5 minutes, I'm going to pick one and do what we did here. Just going to imagine doing it as if I was a professional. Stephen Pressfield, I think, he says, when you write as a professional. And when he's talking about writing, he's talking about creating. Chase Jarvis does the same thing. Act as a professional. Act as if. And just do the work and show your work. Showing your work in this is showing yourself, the true self. And you know what? It feels bloody good. And when it feels bloody good for you, which it will, guess what? Everyone around you, especially the people who love you, get to feel that. They get to be with you. They get to celebrate with you. And because of that, you'll take another step to push that bar of personal best even higher. And then you can start looking at your goals and go, I can do anything. In fact, I want a better goal. I want a bigger goal. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to. Because I want to. And because I can. And I'll take people with me to show them anything is possible. Wouldn't that be a lovely thing to do? Especially to the youngsters, to show them that anything is possible, especially when it's good for you, good for others around you, and good for little old planet Earth, truly ecological. That's when this world gets absolutely, it's an awesome world anyway. There's just a few dumbos around, I guess. There always will be, I guess, but we just have to do the bit that we can do, which is, first of all, start with ourselves and use that most powerful superpower, imagination. What did it do for Disney? And how many people has that affected in a wonderful way? How many people has it inspired? And how many people from there have taken that to inspire other people? I'm looking at someone on YouTube. His name's Aaron Blaze. Yeah, Aaron Blaze. Brilliant artist. He used to work for Disney and other things, and now he is teaching people his art. And he does it in such a wonderful way. He's inspiring others, and he was inspired by other people. He tells a story of how when he was 8, he got a book, and it just inspired him to create art. And even when he lost it, he went and bought another copy, even though he was an adult. He went back because it spurred he was going back again, wasn't he? Doing exactly this, trying on as if. He's a lovely man. And he's just one person I've noticed. How many people can you notice who would inspire you too? And you're one of them. You're the one. That's the one you should have noticed first. I know we don't, but you're the one you should notice first and be committed to you. There you go. That is it. I hope you enjoyed all of that. I would love to know, as I always do, keep those emails coming in. Email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. I'd love to know the type of things that you wanted to be more successful at, because as you do that, I can then maybe think, I could help doing a different thing, maybe another process to add on to it. And how you took on the act as if, what happened? What were the magical differences? And they're not magical, but they just seem magical. They're not magic, rather, but they just seem magical. I'd love to know the strides you made, how successful you were, and what did it feel like? And the thing about that is when you do that to me, and you send me that thing, you have to relive it again. You're teaching me how to do it by teaching yourself again. And that's the way to really embed it at the unconscious level. Tell people in all its wonderful, wonderful, glorious detail. Yeah, so send me that email and we'll have more fun together and see what we can come up with next time. Hope you enjoyed that. And as usual, I'm going to finish off with some good stuff, tell you about bits and pieces, so please do hang on, okay? But just take a moment. Let's just take a moment to stop and pause about what we've just done right now. And as you stop and pause, I wonder if your unconscious mind can begin to work out ways how it can really access all the resources to give you and use this wonderful superpower of imagination and transfer it into acting as if, so you can have all the success you could ever imagine. And that's a lovely stopping and pausing, isn't it? Anyway, wait one more minute, if you could, just for this last little bit. So what is this last little bit, you're going to ask? Come on, Cluffy. Well, what it is obviously, I'd love you to share this episode and tell everyone about the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. I know you want to do it to everybody, but just restrict yourself to maybe 10 or 20 a day. Okay, just restrict yourself. We don't want it to go out too big, do we? We do. We do. But anyway, so if you could share it, that would be awesome. And also, just remember, if you could have a little pop over to paulcloughonline.com. If you go just to the front page of that, you'll see my programs, the Supreme Inner Confidence program, your Free Your Anxiety program, a couple of premium hypnosis tracks to build like an inner retreat in your mind where you can really play this out, or super relaxation, things like that. And if you use the code PDU40, you're going to get 40% discount. But you also know if you sign up to my newsletter, and you do that by going to paulcloughonline.com/podcast, because that takes you into you get all those 50 plus hypnosis processes for free anyway. But you also get a little newsletter. It's only once a month and bits and pieces, but even on the acceptance letter, you'll get a little code that will give you a massive discount. Something like 70%. But I didn't tell you that. Okay, it's a secret. Don't tell everyone. Okay? So there you go. And what's the last thing we want to do? Yeah, have more fun than you can stand. And email me as many times as you like. Okay? Until the next time, my friend, we will be together. You and I. Well, all four of us. Your conscious mind, my conscious mind. Your unconscious mind, my unconscious mind. Let's have a party. See you later. Bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.